Welcome to the small town of Oakham, Massachusetts. For those of you that are new, my name is Jake Boucher. I'm a realtor with Lamachia Realty in Leominster, Massachusetts. Oakham, very, very small town. I think it's the smallest town that has been discussed in the Living in Worcester County playlist. So all the towns we've talked about so far. The residents in Oakham, the number of people that live in the town itself, around 1,620. 1,620 residents, roughly. That's a little outdated, obviously. But Oakham, I was going into this thing, I was thinking of what is there to do in Oakham? When I was younger, I went to Oakham quite a bit because I played Little League baseball and I played basketball. And Oakham has a baseball field that we would obviously play at, and the elementary school in Oakham had a basketball court I used to play at when I think I was in rec league basketball. So when I was like 4th grade or something like that, 3rd grade. So I used to go to Oakham quite a bit, and it was in the school district I went to. I went to Quabbin, for those of you who do not know, which is in Oakham School District. I'm already spoiling the future of this video, but is what it is. So if you're new to this channel, in these videos, this is how it works. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the local real estate market in Oakham specifically, so that town specifically. Then we get into the brief overview of the town itself, and then we wrap up with what there is to do in the town. And this actually kind of surprised me that the more I looked at it. So without further ado, we're going to get into the housing market for Oakham. And I will tell you right off the bat that the Oakham housing market is quiet. There's not a whole lot going on. I think you got to take this, I say this in almost every video, but I think in this case, you need to take the data with a grain of salt because there's simply just no data. It's such a quiet town. Like I mentioned, a little over 1,600 residents that actually live in the town itself. So that tells you right off the bat, there's not going to be many home sales. Land listings is another thing. I haven't checked the land listings, and I should probably do that. Nope, there's no land listings. So there's no land listings. Really just going to focus on the single families. I'm actually shocked that there's no land listings because Oakham has a lot of woods. So the real estate market, I am filming this video on June 5th, 2024. So for those of you that are new, this is how it works. A lot of the sections for the real estate market that we're going to be talking about are the last 12 months, the last 24 months, and we're going to talk about data up until June 5th, 2023. We're going to talk about data up until June 5th, 2024. So you're going to kind of catch on pretty quickly. And I'm going to be putting the data up on the screen for you to see up close. And you can pause the video and take a look at it. But that document is going to be going up on the screen quite often over the next probably 3-4 minutes. Just giving you a fair warning on that. So the inventory, the active inventory in Oakham as of June 5th, 2024. Last year on this day was 1. This year it's 2. Whippy. 2 single-family homes for sale currently. The average price last year up until this day, so the average sold price was $566,875, and this year up until this date, $594,500. So approaching $600,000 average sale price. So that's an increase of almost 5% in average sale price. Average list price up until this day last year, $577,975. Up until this day this year, $587,225. So that's a slight increase, $10,000 increase over last year up until this date. And what's the percentage on that? 1.6% increase. The lowest and highest priced home. So the whopping 2 homes on the market in Oakham right now. The lowest priced is $439,900, and the highest priced is $879,000. So those are your 2 options in Oakham. Impressive, right? Very, very impressive. All right, so the homes sold up until this date, this time last year, was 4. 4. Homes sold up until this date this year, 4. 4. A whopping 8 total home sales in that 10-month period. First 5 months of 2023, the first 5 months of 2024. Those 5 months combined gives you 8 home sales in the town. I'm not shocked because we've already talked about the population. Population is very limited, hence home sales are very limited too. And the number of units listed the prior 12 months, so this is the number of single-family homes listed in the prior 12 months. Prior 12 months of up until June 5th, 2023 was 17. There were 17 homes listed in that 12-month period, so that's a little over 1 a month, almost 1.5 homes a month. This year, it's gone down. went down to 16. So we're at, close to 1.5 homes per month. A little less, maybe. A little less, I think. So 16 this year, or the last 12 months. Days on market. This isn't also not a surprise because with there being not many homes for sale and the number of people that actively want to move to Oakham, it's a desirable place depending on what you're looking for, but it's just so very rural and secluded where it's not everyone's cup of tea. So you have to find that perfect buyer, and I hope sellers, I've never sold anything in Oakham, but I hope sellers kind of realize that their home has potential to sit a lot longer in a town like Oakham than other towns like Leominster, for example. So the days on market in 2023 up until this date was 93. This year it's 66. The days to offer 2023 up until June 5th was 89. This year is 53 days to get that offer in hand. Pretty much waiting 2 months in Oakham to get an offer in hand, and that's in this crazy market that we've found ourselves into. If you're a seller, gotta deploy patience, and if you're a buyer, you gotta deploy patience as well. If you're really looking for a town like Oakham, you gotta wait for the home to come on the market, which could be quite a while. I wouldn't get your hopes up if you're looking solely in Oakham. You saw it, 17 homes listed in a 12-month period, 16 the last 12 months. Gotta be real patient. The overview of Oakham, I've already talked about the number of residents, so a little over 1,600 residents, so very, very small town. I think it's the smallest town that we've talked about so far in terms of population. It's very rural, like I mentioned earlier. It's a lot of woods, lots of woods. A lot of neighbors, or a lot of homes have quite a lot of acreage compared to other towns. So if you're looking for all that acreage, then Oakham can check off that box big time. Just gotta wait for the home. Main routes, however you pronounce that word. Route 148, Route 122, and then Old Turnpike Road, which is one of the bigger roads in Oakham. Obviously no highways. Probably, so Oakham's next to Paxton, so your nearest highway is probably Route 190, something like that. Route 190 maybe. You're probably 25 minutes from the nearest highway, in all honesty. So if you're looking for an easy commute to the highway, Oakham probably isn't the best place in terms of that. If you're looking for that peace and quiet, then Oakham is the place for that. The schools in Oakham, I already mentioned Oakham Center School, so that's the elementary school. That's kindergarten through 5th grade, 174 students. And then Oakham students end up going to Quabbin Regional Middle School and High School to further their education. So the middle school, which is located in Barre, Mass, which was the last town video that we did, 517 students enrolled in grades 6 through 8, which is the middle school. In Quabbin Regional High School, 566 students, which is grades 9 through 12. So that's where Oakham students end up going to school, for the most part, unless they do school of choice somewhere else. I'm trying to think of a school that's close to Oakham. That's not Quabbin. Probably Wachusett, a couple towns away in Holden. Thinking vocational schools too. Pathfinder maybe? I don't know. It's not a whole lot of options. This was the section that actually very much surprised me. I was trying to think of what is there to do in Oakham, because like I mentioned earlier, I've been to Oakham quite a lot of times in my life. And I always just thought, like, this town has not much. And then I was trying to do a couple searches and just seeing what's in Oakham. Like, do they have any restaurants? Do they have, like, anything like that? And the short answer is no, they really don't have restaurants. We'll get into something very shortly. For the most part, they don't have any, like, restaurants, coffee shops. I don't even know if Oakham has a gas station, now that I'm thinking about it. A gas station. I don't know. I don't even know if Oakham has cell service. I know Hubbardston, for a fact, doesn't have cell service as of now. Oakham, do they have cell service? I don't know. I think cell service is quite important nowadays. If I'm going to Oakham to do a showing or whatever, and I don't know where the hell I am, I'm gonna want cell service, just in case. You just never know. Especially with how much the land's in Oakham. If I run into a bear or something like that, I got no cell service. Like, who do I call? Like, that could be a tough scene. So, what is there to do in Oakham? This surprised me. So, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, but agronomy. I'm going to go with agronomy farm vineyard. So it's a 1.85 acre vineyard located in Oakham. And they sell wine, cider, maple syrup. They have 33 acres of forest, which is where they gather their maple syrup. And I say syrup like syrup. I don't say syrup. just not, no. That's syrup is the proper pronunciation for that word. The agronomy farm vineyard is open Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. I don't know if that's all year round or what the deal is with that, but they have a couple events. They have private wine tasting, vineyard wine pairing, vineyard wine pairing dinner, and they host weddings. I don't think they've hosted weddings for like a year or two because they're working on something on the grounds. I don't know if they've resumed that or what, but I don't know. Quail Hollow Golf and Country Club. I forgot all about this golf course. I've never played it, even though I played a lot of golf in my life. Just never got to this course. I don't know why. It's not that far away. It's an 18-hole course. I mentioned the restaurants earlier. There's no like real restaurants. They got a Golfer's Arm Tavern. That's the name of it. Small menu, it's like a pub style, sandwiches, that's about it. And then there's like a Friday dinner menu with a couple other things added to that. So that, I guess you can count that as a restaurant, but not really at the same time. But technically it is, because it's an establishment that is serving food to their customers. Don't know how you would classify that. I'll just call it a pub or a tavern like they have listed here. If you like camping, Oakham has 2 campgrounds. I thought they had 1, but they got 2. I actually used to go camping at one of these every year for probably 8 to 10 years of my life. And that one is Pine Acres Campground, which is on Lake Dean or Dean Lake. And I really thoroughly enjoyed that campground. It was the last time I went there, at least all those years, it was very well maintained. Staff was friendly. Big campground. It's just a nice campground. It was a cool place to be. A lot of pine trees, waterfront campsites, so you can have like RVs there, you can tent if you want, trailers, so on and so forth. They had a really cool pool. It was like a nice, really cool pool with like a, I don't know, it was like a waterfall system type of thing. Big pool, if I'm remembering correctly. So Pine Acres Campground, that was a fun time, good memories there. Big campground, you can do a lot of biking there. And then Lake Dean Campground, I don't know too much about that one, but it's like right across the lake from Pine Acres Campground. So got some competition there between the campgrounds. So Pine Acres, I don't know how much has changed. I know my aunt and uncle, we used to camp with them. They went to Pine Acres, I think, like 4 years ago, and it just wasn't the same. So, but that's 2 people's word against other people's word. People have different opinions on everything. So make your own judgments if you're a camper, or if you've been to Pine Acres. Leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think about it, and it gives other viewers a chance to see what another person's viewpoint is. And then Oakham State Forest, like I mentioned, a lot of land in Oakham, a lot of woods. So you can do hiking. They got trails there. I think 2 trails, if I'm not mistaken. So you got those options as well. So to wrap it all up, to put it simply, Oakham is a quiet town. Very quiet town. If you're looking for peace and quiet, Oakham can check that box. But again, you might have to wait for like 7 years for a home to come in the market. So don't get your hopes up on finding a home specifically in Oakham. Specifically, there's other towns similar to Oakham in Central Mass area. So if you're looking for a rural town like that that's quiet, not near many things, at least we got a couple in the Central Massachusetts. So you got a couple options. By far, it's probably the most rural town we've talked about so far, just based off the population alone. Very small population base. But that's it. I'm gonna try to keep this outro a lot shorter than my outros I usually do. So like this video if you got value out of it. Comment down below if you have any questions, comments, concerns. Share this video with someone that might get value from it. Family, friend, colleague who's thinking about buying or selling, or just wants to learn more about Oakham, beautiful town of Oakham. Contact me. You got my info down below. You can book a Zoom meeting with me if you're thinking of buying or selling, so on and so forth. That's it. That's it for Oakham. I don't even know what town video this is, 10 or 11, 12, something like that. But I appreciate you tuning into this video, and I will see you in the next video, which will be coming at some point in the near future. Thank you.